there, welcome. This is Here's to Your Good Health. My name is Linda Prezioso. I'm a nurse practitioner at Family Medical Center, and I've got two friends with me tonight, but we're talking about health things, and so I've coerced them into coming with me. Jean's been here several times. She's getting to be a good friend, a regular. And then Sally is a friend of mine in a couple of business groups that I belong to. But Sally has a couple of interesting stories, all health related. And so I decided that instead of me reading this stuff and talking about things, that we would hear from a real person who has gone through some tough stuff. And, I've always said on this show that you have to take the reins of your own health.
Yes.
As a healthcare provider, I can help guide you. I can write you prescriptions. I can say, well, you should maybe do this. The guidelines say I can do all of that. That's my job. But it's your job to want to grab hold of health and do what you can do to take care of it. We can't just take a pill. Because you take a pill for one thing, that causes a side effect. Then you got to take a pill for that side effect. And then you got to take another pill and then another pill for that side effect. And it's just, before you know it, you're on 10 pills. And, our health system is really, it's not designed to keep you to get you healthy. It is a reactive system. In other words, you got something wrong. Oh, now we're going to react and take care of you. Where if they would be proactive, teach us how to eat, give us good food, show us why we need to exercise, and do all this and instill this in us from day one, right. Mamas and babies, we would have a much healthier society, I believe.
It's a disease management system rather than a health management system.
That's right. And so I'm all about health management. Disease management is done about 99% of the medical field here in town. I'm the opposite. I've always been the outlier. I'm always done things weird and different, and being in the health profession is no different.
That's why we love you, Linda.
Yeah, that's why you love me. That's right. So
you're weird.
Yes, that's right. And it takes one to know one.
That's right.
Well, I do.
Yes. So Sally's got a couple of stories. She's going to tell you her story of why she had to leave her home and her family in Pennsylvania to come to North Carolina. That's one story she's got. And then she's also, and in conjunction with that, she's also got kidney stones, and she has learned how to eat a kidney stone diet. Sally is a perfect example of grabbing hold of your problems, grabbing the bull by the horns, so to speak, and saying, okay, this is what I got, how can I get it better? So she, like I said, she's left her home. She had a flourishing business that she had to stop doing. She had to stop her business. She had to come down here, and she's going to tell you why in just 1 second. Jean has got some, she does Optavia, and she does health coaching, and she helps with weight loss, and she's got a new exciting program that's going to be starting, and so she's going to share about that. And I'm not going to do anything but sit here and listen. So it's you guys tonight. So Sally, let's talk about why you left Pennsylvania.
Well, I was a 300-pound woman, and that didn't happen overnight, but it happened throughout my life. 5 pounds here, 10 pounds there,
right.
And before you know
just
it.
Like the rest of us.
And I always had a very small hiatal hernia. Usually when they're small, they are not so much troublesome.
They don't do much.
You could get acid reflux, which I did have, and it stayed like that for a very, very long time. But what I didn't know was that the obesity puts a lot of abdominal pressure on a person. And my hiatal hernia got much bigger, where half of my natural stomach was herniated into my chest, and how they found that out was because I was having pain down here when I would eat. And I was having it for a long time. It was kind of off and on. And I might not see it for 2 months, and then it would come back. And I thought, well, you know, I ate something, right? Until I got really sick. But the sad story was that I needed to lose weight, and the hernia was so big that it was in danger of strangulation. And what does that mean? Cutting off the blood supply. And the doctor told me right out, you might not come back from that, so we need to get this going. So I got through the program of the weight loss surgery in about 6 weeks, which is almost unheard of.
Oh, yeah, no, it
Because
takes
it's
6 months normally.
6 months, but because I had such an emergent hernia. So they fixed the hernia, they gave me the bypass, and I started to lose weight. But then I had a serious complication. And the pouch that they create in the gastric bypass,
They make a new tummy.
they make a new tummy from your old tummy. The old tummy still works, and in my case, that was a good thing. But the new tummy started to herniate. And it herniated every 3.5 months until I ended up with 4 surgeries. So it would herniate, I would have the operation, 3.5 months it would herniate. It would take 3 months then till they fixed it again and again and again, until the doctor finally said, we don't know what to do with you.
That's
And
not a good
I was
thing.
left on a feeding tube in the original stomach, and that was how I ate. I could only have a liquid diet. I could only puree a banana if I wanted a banana, which was it was really no way to live. And at one point, I don't think I did want to live anymore, and that's the truth, because everything in life is about food. So I did have a feeding tube, and occasionally I would put the food in it, but didn't really want to do that. But I knew that I was going to die. I mean, it was maybe not the next day or a week, but it was coming. And so I was told that I needed to find help. And nobody helped me find help. I can tell you that. I had to do it. Nobody else, you know, we don't know what to do with you, that's it. Done. So I made a trip to Charlotte, North Carolina, as the surgeon told me he knew someone down there, but that was about it. And they were going to take the case. It was very serious, though. They didn't paint a very good picture. So our plan was to sell our home, shut down the business. I wasn't eating, so, you know, and I was already down lots and lots of weight. I probably only had about 20 pounds left before I was going to go the other way. So being fat on one hand helped me, you know, not become emaciated, but I never made it to Charlotte. We sold our home. We came down to Rocky Mount because it was a cheaper area compared to Raleigh. And we figured we would get settled here, and in 3 days I was obstructed again. Went to the local hospital here, and they were like, we're not touching you. We're not capable
small
of
hospital,
knowing what to even do. And they said, well, we'll transfer you to Duke or to UNC. And it was like, I don't know who they are. You know, I'm from Pennsylvania. So for whatever reason, I picked Duke. And I've had 3 surgeries at Duke. The first one didn't take, the second one did for 3.5 years, and that was called a thoracotomy. It was really I had it 2 times, 3 months apart. Awful surgeries. Took me 3 months to recover, and didn't even know if anything can happen in those kind of surgeries, or any surgery. And I came around, and I lasted about 3.5 years. And then back in July, I had a small recurrence, which was not as bad as what brought me down here. And I had a CAT scan, severe abdominal pain again. I was crying. Jean knows how upset I became. Not eating is something that, not being able to eat is something that frightens me a whole lot.
You were worried about having to get back on the
I was worried about a
tube
feeding tube again.
Yeah, that's right.
So I had abdominal pain, which was horrific. It was 8 hours. It was still there. They did a CAT scan. It didn't look good. They thought I could be strangulating because part of the bowel was herniated. And they did emergency surgery. They painted the worst picture, bowel resection, another thoracotomy, but we need to go in and see what it is. And it was not as bad. I ended up with a laparoscopic. So the point of my story is obesity is not a good thing. In my case, it caused a hiatal hernia that was ready to kill me, you know. In other people's cases, and Jean can touch on this, you know, diabetes and whatnot. So I've lost 110 pounds. I do my darndest to keep it off. I had gained a few and then I lost it. So I've been probably 5 years, I think, I've had the weight off and kept it off. But in conjunction with all of that, I also, you know, had kidney stone issues.
Well, we're not going to get to that quite
Or
yet.
you want to wait on that?
Yeah.
But
So your doctors in Pennsylvania pretty much like said we can't do anything more.
they
for
didn't
you.
know what else.
And
to
did
do.
you ever get to Charlotte?
No, I never made it. I
Okay.
got down here. We had the closing on our home, and it was like 3 days, and I was in the BB&T Bank, and I was, oh my God, I was sick as a dog. I was in so much pain, and I went to the local hospital, and they said, well, you know, we don't have the capabilities to deal with this.
absolutely
Nobody's
not.
going to
This
touch
is a
you.
small little hospital.
And of
for-
course, I was freaking out because, like, what was going to happen to me? And
You
then
didn't
I
know if
got
you'd
to
make
do-
it to Charlotte if you tried to get in the car and get there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you were in so
Yeah.
much pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
You wouldn't have made it.
I would have had to make arrangements to get that operation, but anyways, I ended up at Duke, and the doctor that I had at Duke is a hiatal hernia specialist.
And so what did he do that kept you, how did he fix you so you were good for 3.5 years?
Well, the first surgery didn't take. He didn't think I needed certain things and didn't do them. And within 3.5 months, the same thing happened. What made it last the second time, 3.5 years, is they basically put a fortress, they called it, of stitches in my diaphragm. Now, whatever that means, you know, pledget stitches I heard was one thing. I mean, again, I'm not a doctor, but one of the things I have always done is made it my business to understand my situation. What is, you know, that I can talk intelligently with you or the doctor or anybody. And so they built a fortress, and I did go 3.5 years, and then I just had another like tiny tear, and it was just enough for that valve to go up there, and they put mesh in. But they couldn't put permanent mesh, because permanent mesh can migrate into your esophagus, and then you've got a whole nother ball game of problems. So they put the mesh that, is it deteriorates or it dissolves. And that's a little scary, because when that reinforcement kind of goes away, you know, it seems to tend to make it come back. But I'm hoping I'm getting enough scar tissue in there that, you know, maybe it will hold. But the key is to keep the weight off. That's the worst thing I could do, is gain another 120 pounds back again.
You'd be dead.
I wouldn't survive it again. You know, every surgery I had, and I've had 7 of them, folks, 7 on this hiatal hernia. And the first one really kicked my butt, because I was 300 pounds, maybe 285, because I lost a little bit, you know. But then, you know, being down to like 190 that I am now, those surgeries became much easier
Right.
to deal with physically. Maybe not so much emotionally, but
you
physically.
heal better. They don't
Yes.
have so much fat to cut
Right.
through.
I noticed
fat
a big
doesn't
difference.
sew together well. It doesn't heal like, you know, skin
Right.
on skin. And so, you know, losing that weight was great.
And I noticed a definite, I mean, a thoracotomy is a thoracotomy, but 110 pounds less with a thoracotomy, you're going to do better than if you're you might not make it at 300 pounds, you know. But what I have been through was just, I can remember laying in the hospital, waking up going, somebody please help me, help me, help me. And I had so many painkillers, I was hallucinating. I didn't even know what was happening to me. Buildings were flying, and the nurse came in and I said, do you see the flowers on the, I remember that. And that was really something. All I can say though is I kept fighting.
You're a fighter.
I kept fighting. I didn't give up. I miss my children and my grandchildren every single day that I'm down here. But thank the good Lord, you know, I've made friends, right? 2 of them. And I am starting to build a life, and with modern technology, I do keep in touch with my kids and my grandkids and all of that. And I did lose I had a wonderful embroidery business up there. I was very well known, very well respected. It was a sad day for a lot of those of my I had wonderful customers, and they hated to see me go. The good news is they followed me to North Carolina, some of them, you know. Got well enough, and I just embroider part-time now so that I'm not under tremendous strain or
Right.
anything that's going to cause me
Right.
to rip and tear and herniate again. So
Yeah,
as
you
long
don't-
as people give me time, you know, I embroider part-time, and that's what I am, that's what I know, and I'm proud of that.
Your customers couldn't find anybody that did as good as you, so they're willing to ship
Possible.
it. To ship it,
Yeah.
yeah. They
But they knew my character, they knew my work, they knew
Right.
I stood behind the things that I did or do.
that's important.
And
Yeah.
but yeah, I moved down here with all my equipment, everything that I had, and it's an incredible story. I've written a book. I haven't published it yet because I think I need to add to it because you know I did herniate again after 3.5
Right,
years, but I
right.
did write it down, and it was a horrific experience, and the first time in my life that I really faced the real possibility of dying. And in the second thoracotomy, I knew that all I had left really was between me and God. And I think at that time I surrendered and said, you know, you either have to fix me or you have to take me, but either way, I know you're gonna take care of me. And I got better at 3.5 years. I lasted, you know, and I'm hoping that I get 3.5 this time, maybe more.
Maybe more.
Yeah, let's go for more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with everything emotionally?
When I couldn't eat solid food, I told my husband I'm not going to live like this. And then I had a doctor tell me, well, you know, you can't tell us that because, you know, and I said to the doctor, will you try being on a feeding tube and see how that works out for you? You know,
Well, he was probably referring in effect of
Yeah.
you're suicidal, so then we got to go to another
Yeah.
form of health care.
Yeah.
You know, I
Right.
don't know, but that's probably
well,
what
probably,
he was.
you know.
He was probably thinking, well, at least you're living, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
Easy
really
to
living,
say
is it? Yeah.
It is
No,
really not
It's
living.
existing, and there's a difference
There is.
between
Yeah.
existing and living.
Yeah, and you know, and I basically stood up and said, "You try it." You know, it's really tough, but I didn't try to harm myself. You know, but there was times that I didn't want to live like that.
I'm sure.
And there's times now that I still remember, and I don't want to live like that. You know, but I'm not living like that today. I've learned the importance of day-to-day living. You know, we're in this day, and that's all that we can live for. And my poor husband went through all of it with me. I mean, he had some issues through the course of all of this, but nothing quite as catastrophic as this was. You know, people they look at me with this story like, wow,
Yeah.
you know.
That's why I brought you here. I wanted
Yeah.
my audience to know that story because I think it's really important for us to know that, you know, the medical community can only do so much. And we as people are holistic. There's a whole big part of us. Part of us is our bodies, part of us is our mind, part of us is our soul, our spirit, and we've got to take care of all of that.
right.
But it's time for our first break. So when we come back, I don't know, I'm going to pick eeny, meeny, miny, mo. One of them will go with their story, and then we'll finish up after that. So hang on, watch the commercials. We thank everybody that advertises on this show for me, and we will see you back in just a minute. So don't go away. Hang on.
When faced with special care needs for elderly or disabled loved ones, families want compassionate, comforting care. That's Tender Touch Home Care Services' goal, providing the level of care we would expect for our own. With over 10 years of home care excellence, Tender Touch provides an array of services that keeps your loved one at home. From personal care, light housekeeping, errands, and meal preparation to our private duty care program, which combines all of our home care offerings in one package.
Tender Touch Home Care Services, where your needs are our concern.
Hi, I'm Richard Koss, pharmacist and owner of Almonds Drug Store here in Rocky Mount. Here today with my wife and 2 daughters. For over 75 years, Almonds Drug Store has been the pharmacy of choice for residents of Edgecombe and Nash County. Our family is proud to call Rocky Mount home, and we are excited about the new services and products we are adding daily at both of our Almonds Drug Store's locations and also at our medical supply store.
Come in and see us at Almonds Medical Supply. We're an extension of Almonds Drug Stores, your local hometown pharmacy. We're here to service all your needs, from wheelchairs to walkers to orthopedic supports, compression hose to hard-to-find wound care supplies. And you'll always get that hometown customer service.
We want our patients to pay the best prices, get the best service available, and have a better pharmacy experience than they will get anywhere else. Our staff is committed to going above and beyond to meet our patients' needs. Whether it is working with your provider to get you the best medication at the best price, contacting your provider to get you refills or a prior authorization, or taking the time to review each of your medications with you personally, or perhaps even helping you find an old-time remedy or other hard-to-find items, your Almonds Drug Store staff will work hard to meet your pharmacy needs. At Almonds, we will deliver your prescriptions for free. Both of our stores have drive-through windows, we guarantee short wait times, and our pharmacists will come out to greet you personally and answer any questions you have. If you want to be met with a smiling face, or even want someone to greet you by name when you walk through the doors, we are the pharmacy for you.
Call Almonds Drugs today.
443-3138 or 446-0014.
Hey, welcome back. I'm here with my dear friend Sally Carlsmark, who's been sharing her story. She's not a medical person, although she's learned a lot about medicine with all that she's gone through. But I just thought that it was a good way to really get the point across of how important it is for you to take care of your own health and to grab hold of it and do what you need to do to stay as healthy as you can. So now another thing that Sally's gone through, I tell you what, this girl's gone through more than I have in all my years, and that I don't want any of that stuff. But she has kidney stones, and for anybody that's out there and has had a kidney stone, suffers with kidney stones, you know that they're really painful. I had a lady tell me, it was either yesterday or today, she said it was worse than giving birth.
That's what I've heard too.
So I've heard that multiple times throughout my years of nursing. So Sally is going to tell us another story. She's just full of stories.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Sally. Tell us this one.
Well, part of having gastric bypass could be some of the reason why I have absorption problems, with the kidney stones. Like I said before, even with the hernia situation, it's very important to understand and learn what your problem is, why it happens, what to do about it. When I finally, the kidney stones were getting bigger, let's put it that way. If you have a kidney stone that's 5 millimeters or under, usually you can pass that. And, it's not too detrimental.
You'll feel it,
It
but-
hurts like crazy, but as long as it can go through, that's your ace in the hole. But mine didn't want to go through. I had 7 millimeters and 10 millimeter stones, and people probably had bigger ones than that.
You can't see.
And what happens is then, if they decide to move, and they get down to the ureter, is that correct?
Yeah.
The ureter. Then it causes a blockage. You can become septic, infection, and that's a whole nother can of worms. And so I consult continuously with a kidney specialist. But for me, my kidney stones were tested. I have oxalate kidney stones. They're a
Let me just-
calcium based.
Right. There's
Right.
two different two that I know of. Maybe
two most
the two
common
most
ones.
common ones is the oxalate,
Right.
and there's calcium, or is that the
No,
same?
that's
It's calcium oxalate.
Yeah.
And uric acid.
Uric acid.
And then
Okay.
uric acid.
Yeah.
So it's important to know the difference. I don't know a lot about the uric acid because that's not my problem. Mine is the calcium oxalate. So they kind of tell you to try to eat foods that are low in oxalates. Like almonds are extremely high. Certain vegetables can be extremely high. However, those foods also have nutrition that we
Sure,
need.
sure.
And so in my situation, I'm supposed to take calcium if I eat foods that are higher. Try to keep the oxalate foods down, but if I eat some of that stuff, try to get the calcium in there. Half a cup of milk or some cheese or something like that. And it's not easy. It's really not easy. And then the doctor also has me on it's like a fizzy kind of thing that you put in water. I have to drink it twice a day. And that's to keep, I can't remember the name of it. I'm 60 years old. Unfortunately, I can't come up with it right now. But I put it in water, and it's to keep the acidity in the urine down, which also has something to do with it. But when I was trying to learn and understand my situation, I mean, I had to read it numerous times till I could finally get it to sink in.
It's hard to comprehend,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is. It is.
Yeah.
But again, I'm that kind of person. I read and I read and I read and I read. And I think you both have seen that I'm pretty knowledgeable
Yeah.
about things. Don't claim to be a doctor or a nurse or anything like that, but I've always made it a point to read and understand.
But it's your body, and you
Right.
took the initiative to
And
learn
water.
what you need to learn.
Water is a big deal.
Yes.
You have to drink a lot of water because that neutralizes and pushes those things out. And because when people go to the bathroom, when you tinkle, that's getting the toxicity out of your body. So if a stone gets lodged, you can't pass your water properly.
Then it backs
Yeah.
If
up.
you can drink enough to get it flushed out before it gets
Right.
big,
Right.
you're more likely to.
Now
you might get the stones,
I
but
never
they'll pass.
became septic, but I was very close. I was in the hospital one time, 4 days on antibiotic. I was very, very close. And but now I keep tabs on it. Kidney stone surgeries are not fun if they have to go in and take them out because you can't pass them, and they will go in and blast them. I think there's a couple different ways they can blast them and then pull them out that
They
way.
come up into smaller stones.
The last one I had, what is that thing that they, I can't think of the name of it now.
You had a stent put in.
A stent, yeah. Ugh. That was not fun. That was one of the worst stents I ever had. The one stent is no different than the other, but it was very uncomfortable. And you need that in for 3 or 4 days so that your tubes don't collapse, and
Right.
so you can still pass. And then I pulled it out myself, but I have to say it's difficult. And even now, sometimes I forget to get that calcium in there. And they really want it to come from food, not
Yes.
from a supplement. But if worse comes to worse, take the supplement. But I try
So what are
to
some foods that are high in calcium that you can eat?
cheese, milk. Almond milk has calcium in it, but it's because they add it.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
cow's milk has more, it's natural. So 1%, 2% skim or whole all has the same amount of calcium, irregardless of which one you choose,
But you had more difficulties finding the low oxalate foods.
Oh yeah,
finding
I mean
calcium.
trying to remember that.
Yeah.
Right. What are some
You know.
low oxalate foods?
Oatmeal is low, corn is low. Your meats, your eggs don't have any oxalates in them.
Right.
Your processed foods,
Full.
stay away.
Yeah.
Stay away. You have to be careful with, whole grain breads and things like that.
Dark greens.
Dark greens, Swiss chard I think was one, spinach
Spinach.
was another. Very, very
high
high.
in oxalates.
Yeah. So if I want to taste an almond, I might have 1 or 2, but I don't, have a handful like I
Yeah.
normally would want to. But it's a lot to remember. And I've noticed lately, I'm getting, I forget to put the cheese on or,
The thing
it's
with
hard.
the calcium and the oxalate is that when they come together, they click together
In the
and form the
intestine.
stone. And that if that happens in your kidney, that's how you get a kidney stone. So you want that to happen in the stomach or in the intestines before
Right.
it gets to the kidney.
Right.
So you
'Cause
don't want it
the
to pass.
calcium takes it out of your body if it combines with it in the intestine. It
right, takes
removes
out,
it.
it becomes a
Right.
stone. You have a
Right.
stone, it's just not a kidney stone.
Right.
It's a stomach stone or an intestinal, which you don't
Right.
know because the stomach and the
Right.
intestine are both big enough for any size stone to pass through without
right,
any problem at
right,
all.
Right.
And no pain or anything, you don't even know it's there. So that's where you want it to happen. So so when you eat food that's high in oxalate, you would think that you don't want to eat, if it's a calcium oxalate, the combination, that you eat less calcium. But you don't want to do that because you want that calcium to combine with
Right.
the oxalate in the stomach
Right.
or the intestines.
And that's what confuses you because
Right.
it's a calcium oxalate stone, so you think
You don't want
I
calcium.
don't want calcium, but really you
want
need
more
the calcium
calcium.
to grab onto the oxalate in the food and carry it out through the intestine.
Exactly.
If not, it goes into the bloodstream. Your kidneys filter the blood. Am I correct on
That's
that?
right.
And then the oxalate ends up, and then you get kidney stones, and then that's my.
right.
my
And the
if
deal
I
with
could
the-
sell them, it would be great.
That would be great.
You know?
The deal
But-
with the supplements is that they don't digest at the same rate as the
Right.
natural calcium in
Right.
food does. And you want those foods in your stomach to be digesting at the same time,
Right.
so they
Right.
lock together in the
Right.
stomach. So by the time a supplement digests, the oxalates are already out of the stomach and into the intestines.
Right.
So they're going to get, they're not going to combine.
And
in
that's what
in
I
that
need to
intestinal
step up
tract.
my game a little bit and get more, you know, don't forget to have that half a cup of
Right.
milk.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but I have an additional challenge because I only have a tiny belly.
Right,
You
so you
know,
gotta do it
so
more
I don't eat a
frequently.
lot of food. My mind is hungry, I can tell you that. My mind is always hungry. And that's a lot of our problem, irregardless of.
Losing weight is all up here.
It
Yeah,
is mainly
your
up
mind
there.
is hungry, not necessarily your belly, you know.
Yeah, about 1,000 milligrams of calcium should be enough unless you're eating super high amount.
They told me about 800,
Yeah.
8 to 1,200 a
Right,
day.
it's that's about 1,000.
And I don't think I was getting anywhere near that.
Probably
And
not. Most
you
people
know,
don't.
And I've got to step up my game because I've noticed I'm forgetting, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Something you're
so-
going to have to be on top of.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Something else you
Yeah.
need to avoid is high sodium stuff.
Yes.
Because sodium and calcium are have the same transport mechanism from the bloodstream into the kidney.
Right.
And so the more sodium, because the sodium carries the calcium with it. So every time a molecule of sodium goes out, a molecule of calcium goes out too. So the more sodium you have, the more calcium is going to go out, which means you're not going to have enough calcium to combine with the oxalates
Right.
in the kidney.
Right.
So you have to be on. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, you
So
have to
I'm
be
not
on
sure what uric acid folks have to do.
Uric
but
acid-
if you are a uric acid kidney stone sufferer, make it a point to find out what you
Well,
need
uric
to do.
acid stones form in acidic urine.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that you're not eating high acid foods.
So they have
And
to
I
drink
think
that
isn't it-
fizzy
and they
stuff.
And they have to drink that
Yeah,
fizzy
well,
stuff.
and I'm
yeah.
drinking that
Yeah.
fizzy stuff.
You are.
I just can't think of the name of it right now. Even though I don't have uric acid, there's still something, you know, in the urine that's contributing to
The
the
uric
the
acid
stone.
comes from animal
Yeah,
products.
Right.
right.
So
Beef and
I don't know what, I'm not
red
quite
meat,
sure what the
red meat, organ meats, and shellfish.
what that has
are-
to do with the oxalate, though. That the
It doesn't.
acidity in the urine and it has something. There's a correlation
Unless
there. Yeah.
it's more likely to form in an acidic urine. I'm not sure about that. I know it is with the uric acid
Yeah.
stones, but I'm not sure about the acidity of the urine with the oxalates.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. You know, it's complicated, but it's learnable. You know,
it is complicated.
Yeah,
It is.
learnable.
And that's what part of this whole show is about, that you can do it. We don't want to. We want to go to the doctor, take a pill, and we're done. But that's not the way it works. It's just not.
No.
And
But that's the way we're
way
led
we
to believe.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
If Sally could have done that, she'd have done it.
That's right.
Oh,
And I
absolutely.
can tell you as a provider, I mean, I've learned so much from Sally on this diet. I mean, I knew that there was a kidney stone diet, but that's about it. You know, I'm a Jill of all trades and a master of none. So I know just enough. Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. But I don't know the details of it. And if you come to me with kidney stones, I can't give you all that information. And I'm sure the urologists do, but again, they probably are time constrained. I don't know. Who,
They'll send
who
you to a
told
clinical-
you about this? Did your kidney stone
The
guy?
urologist told me he wanted me to have calcium at every meal
Mm-hmm.
and you know, take the fizzy drink twice a day. But it
that-
was up to me to really start to read and
Figure it out.
understand, you know,
Yeah.
because I too was saying I have a calcium oxalate stone, but they want me
To eat-
to eat calcium.
Calcium.
Like, what in the world is
Yeah.
going on?
Why do I
here?
want more calcium? if it's
Yeah,
good for me?
but as I kept reading, but a lot of times we can't read it once or twice, you
No.
know. And I'm not a stupid person, but I had to read it several times and really start
Because it's
dissecting
complex.
it.
It's
It is.
complicated.
Our bodies are very complex.
Oh
It
my
is.
gosh, yes.
Yeah. And there's so many people that just don't understand anything that's going on with them. I understand hiatal hernia because I understand the anatomy of how you eat, and it goes down here, and if it doesn't have a clear path, you got a problem, and I had a problem. You know, so yeah, I've had 6 kidney stone surgeries, I believe. Now, they're not guaranteeing me that I won't get another one because I'm prone to it, but
Sure.
trying to do the best I can to keep it down, you know, and I will always be going to a urologist because I can't pass 7 and 10 millimeter stones. Nobody
No,
can.
absolutely not.
So they need to keep a check on that so that if they get to that size or bigger, you know, they got to do something to get it out. And
That
they, you know,
the urologists usually say that we should be drinking half our weight in
Right.
ounces.
and that's hard too, Jean.
It is. I mean, if you
Yeah.
weigh 200 pounds, that's 100 ounces.
Yeah.
Usually they
People
say
bulk-
64,
yeah,
but 100 ounces is a lot
People
of fluid.
bulk at 64.
They do.
Yeah.
They
I'll
don't want to
say-
drink 64,
you-
but you got to keep those kidneys
Right.
flushed
Yes,
out
yes.
so that the kidney stones
Kidneys
can't get big
love
enough.
water.
They do.
Kidneys hate tea. I hate to tell all you Southern girls and boys that. And they hate soda.
Yeah, I don't drink
Bladders
soda.
hate soda.
Very rarely
That's
do I have
the
even
worst
diet
thing you
soda.
could put in your one of the
Right.
worst things.
Mostly water. I will include milk. If I'm drinking milk for the calcium, I include that as liquid,
Sure.
you know. I try to do as much lemon water as I can, regular water as I can. And I should be doing about 90 ounces or 95 ounces a day. Some days I only get 85, 88, but I'm pretty close. It's very difficult because that's another thing I have. Besides remembering to eat calcium all the time,
Got to remember to
I got to
drink
remember
water.
to drink the water, and I got to remember to take the vitamins. I got to remember to take the fizzy stuff. Oh my God, you know. So you really don't know how good it is when you have nothing to worry about health-wise. You don't have to think about anything. And I have a lot to think about, and yet I'm healthier than some people, I guess. You know, in certain ways.
You are.
Yeah.
You know, but no matter what you have wrong in your life, it's not good. You know,
No,
if you stub
we
your
gotta-
toe, it hurts.
We got to fix it. All right, it's time for our next break, and when we come back, Jean's going to tell us about some new things in her business with weight loss and how she can help you. Now that you've had Sally's story, maybe you would be interested in this. It's a free service. It costs you nothing but your time, and you're going to learn a lot. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these sponsors. See you in a minute.
Help with your hearing challenges and hearing care. To celebrate this monumental occasion, when you buy a pair of Livio 1600 series hearing aids or higher, you get one hearing aid for free because it helps to have a spare of equal or lesser value. We know how inconvenient it is to have your hearing aids serviced, maintained, and repaired without a spare. As a community provider, we are focused on individualized care as personalized as your fingerprint. We build relationships with our patients and believe that is the only way to provide the quality of service that has kept us in business for more than 20 years. We have grown and stood the test of time while embracing technological advances and innovations in our industry. We couldn't do it without all of you.
You don't know what anybody can do for you until you have a problem. And when you have a problem, is how the person works through that problem that makes them effective, makes them beneficial in your life. I get involved in a lot of activities at our church. And with the music and things that are going on, I'm going to my noisy setting quite a few times. And then depending upon who's speaking, I may be going to what they call a theater setting, which is a higher level. And so you have to negotiate through, you only have, in my case, I only have like 3 different levels now. She does have some technology, we have some different volume controls. I don't use that. And I have to work with her, and rather than having to come back to the office it's easier for me to call her wherever she's at, and we'll set us up a time, and then she will readjust my hearing aids over the telephone, which works real good. And I've used that quite frequently. But usually once you get set up, you don't typically have to change much. And a lot of times people don't want to go through the pain of the setup process, but if you don't spend the time in the setup process, you're not going to have the long-term results.
We are thankful to our faithful customers and look forward to many more years of service to our community.
I would say patients, they say it for us. You know, they refer people to us all the time, and they're not going to refer if they're not happy with you. If they don't think you're going to take care of their friend or their family member, they're going to you're going to shut right up. They're not going to say anything. And I've built my business on 75% referrals.
We offer convenient financing, layaway, and many pay options to ensure that our customers have comfortable experience getting quality equipment, reliable service you can depend on, and the product that fits both your physical and financial needs. Please visit our website, downeasthearingcare.com. Don't miss out. Schedule your appointment today. This month, we would like to invite you to our VIP 20th Anniversary Open House Hearing Healthcare event. During this event, we are offering one free Livio RIC hearing aid with the purchase of 2 Livio MRIC devices per person. Receive an expert, no-obligation hearing consultation and free product demonstration. This limited-time offer is available at our local hearing clinics. Get answers to all hearing-related questions. You can reach our convenient locations in Knightdale at 919-500-7455 or Rocky Mount at 252-378-2018.
Tell y'all we were live, and we still are live. It is the 24th of August. So if you have a question for Sally, give her a call, 407-1111. I know she'd be happy to talk to you, wouldn't you, Sally?
Sure.
So now we're going to move over to Jean. Jean is a health coach. She's a retired nurse practitioner. All you have to do is talk to her for a few minutes, and you know that she's got it going on. She's got it together. She's a smart lady. She knows, she's a good teacher. She knows how to break things apart and make it understandable for a lay person.
And very caring person.
Yes. And so she's got something going on with her business, and so I want her to tell you about that. So okay. Go ahead, Jean.
Well, I am a certified Optavia health and wellness coach. And what I do is to help people who are really frustrated with trying to lose weight and keep that weight off. Mm-hmm. So I help them to find a way to lose the weight and to keep it off and to gain their health back, to increase their energy, and to really live the life that they want to live. That's what I do in a nutshell. And we use a curriculum which really makes the difference between this just being another diet and being a life transformation system. Mm-hmm. So without the curriculum, it's just another diet. Mm-hmm. But the life transformation system that we used is called the Habits of Health, written by Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, who's a very intelligent man. The more I know about him, the more impressed I am with him. But that is a textbook that has a workbook that goes with it, and I go through with my clients that workbook all the way through. It's a 52-week curriculum, so it's designed to be done in a year. Even though most of them lose their weight in less time than that, it takes more than that probably to lose 100 pounds. But but whenever they'll stay with me to the end of the book, just to get that coaching on the book as well. And we have decided that there are a lot of people out there who really don't want to be on the plan. Mm-hmm. They don't want to be on any kind of an eating plan. They just want to have the knowledge about what are the habits of health. And we've talked about that before. How can we help? Well, you can buy the book and read it. Well, reading it by yourself is just not the same.
That's right.
As it being taught to you and you're hearing other people and how they're applying it to their life. So on September 12th, my team is going to begin doing a weekly half hour on Facebook. not Facebook, yeah, on Zoom. I'm sorry, not Facebook, on Zoom. And we are going to spend a half an hour and go through the book, starting with the introduction and then the first, it's called elements, not chapters. I don't know why they're called elements, but the first element and the second element. And we'll be going through the book each Monday. And it's free, doesn't cost you anything. If you want to buy the book, you can buy it on Amazon or you can buy it at habitsofhealth.com. And that way you can read along with the book. But you don't even have to have the book. You can just listen to the discussion and chime in if you want to.
What time is it?
It's at 7 o'clock on Monday evenings.
Okay.
And if you want to have the Zoom ID, just put it, in Linda's. Well, you can send it to mine.
Just let us know.
Yeah, just let
we'll
us know.
get it to you.
My website is not my website. It's Dr. Jean. Get Healthy with Dr. Jean. Facebook. It's my Facebook page. Get Healthy with Dr. Jean. Put it in there that you would like to have the Zoom ID for the
Now,
the
what
Habits of Health.
what if you can't do it on Mondays? I have a meeting I do on Monday nights.
I do not know. Somebody else asked me that today, and I need to get in touch with our leadership and see if we're going to.
Yeah.
That's
If
probably
we
going to
can-
be, if it's going to be taped and be available later
And
on.
it might be nice for you to be able to post that on your Facebook
Yes,
page, too.
yeah, it would be. Each week after we do it, to be able to
Right,
post it. And
right.
people that can't
Right.
be there on Monday night
'Cause
can
I
look
can't.
at it another time, yeah.
So, yeah,
And
that's,
we did not have that as part of the discussion when we were talking about doing it, but you're the second person that's asked that, so I will bring that up. We still have plenty of time between now and
September
the 12th
12th.
of September.
Yeah.
We didn't want to start on the 1st because that's Labor Day weekend.
Right.
A lot of people will be
Right.
out of town and not want to be there.
Yeah, and see, then I'm going to be gone a week. I'm going to Hawaii in September, so
Yeah.
I'm not.
You and your
I
hubby.
am not going to think about habits of health. I'm going to think about, there's more fish to eat. I love fish.
Yeah,
I
you'll
could
have
eat.
plenty of fish in Hawaii.
Yes, yes, yes. So
we're excited about offering this
yes,
new
I think it's
thing
awesome
to people.
because I think a lot of people they think, if I talk to Jean, then I have to sign up and it might cost money. And
This is totally free.
we are, all three of us I can speak for them. We are about being as healthy as possible. The food we get, you've got to eat fresh. Do not eat any processed food if you can help it. I know we all get, a submarine sandwich once in a while. I get that. We all do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for the most part, we all cook.
Fresh food.
Fresh food.
Homemade food.
Yes, don't, anything that's in a box, a can, or wrapped in cellophane, stay away from. It's not healthy for you. And it's, like I said, you can have a little spot
Right.
here and there, but you really have to eat fresh, and
Right.
make it yourself.
It's what's habitual that makes it happen. It's like the guy that ends up in the emergency room having a heart attack right after he ate a Big Mac. And he says, Big Mac gave me a heart attack. No, that Big Mac did not give you a heart attack. It was eating a Big Mac every day.
Yeah.
That
right,
gave you a heart
right.
attack. And it
You
wasn't
gave
that
me-
one.
Yeah, that's right. It was, Bill Clinton.
So that's
he-
what we do habitually. Yeah.
Right. Bill Clinton was a big junk eater, and he had a heart attack. And since then, he's gone all vegetarian.
Yeah.
And, that's probably one of the better diets to have, more plants than anything else. When you fill your plate, half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. A quarter of it is your piece of meat. And a piece of meat, a good way to gauge it is the palm of your hand. So if you're a big guy, you're going to get a bigger piece of steak than I am. I got small little hands, but that's kind of a good gauge. That's the size of your pork chop, that's the size of your hamburger that you're going to grill yourself. If you're going to have some French fries, get you an air fryer. They're very
I
good.
love my air fryer.
And they really are tasty, and that gives it a crunch without the oil. But it's just really important to learn how to eat and learn why you should eat that. Because I'm telling you, the stuff that's on the grocery store and the shelves, Kraft macaroni and cheese and things like that, it's full of sugar, fat, and salt. None of it in there. There's hardly any, if any, nutritional value in some of that stuff.
Be careful, anything that comes in a box.
Yes. So, I get not wanting to cook. I get working full time. I get having to feed 3 kids. I get having to run to the baseball field. I've done all of that. And when I worked in the ER, I would, and what I do now is I cook on the weekends. And then I eat off of it throughout the week. So I'll make probably like 3 meals, and then that's what we eat. And
I'm good at that too, because, we like leftovers.
I like leftovers.
Yeah.
So some people
so it
don't.
helps.
So that's a
Yeah.
problem for those that
Yeah.
don't like leftovers. But or spend your weekend prepping. So
Right.
when you come home from all you have to do is stir fry those vegetables and put the pork chop in the pan.
Yeah. Or make extra meat so you can put it on top of a salad the next night.
Right.
And my daughter does that a lot on Sundays. She has, she works full time, so she meal preps for the entire week. So she's got her breakfast, her lunch, her
Right.
snack, and she knows exactly, and then she crock pots a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to find what works for you.
You
don't
have to
think?
find what works
Yeah.
for you. Yes,
Everyone's different.
and you've got to spend the time to do it too. And we, as a whole, are very lazy. I'm lazy. I
am
just
too.
soon not have to do that. But I also know the importance of it, and I know. I see it every day, the disadvantage of eating poorly and what it does to people. So, anybody who's watched this show for a while, I've preached this for the last 9 years, and I'm probably going to preach it for the next 9 years, God willing, and the creek don't rise.
Right.
So Jean has a great program that if you want to lose weight, she's a great health coach. She'd be very happy to help you lose weight with the Optavia. You now have several different plans
Right.
on Optavia, right? So why don't you tell them about that?
Well, the Optavia 5-in-1 is the one I use the most because it helps you to lose weight the fastest, puts you on a mild fat burn, so it kind of get those endorphins going, make you feel good, which puts you in a better mood to stay on the plan and lose the weight. And it happens within a week. That's the best plan, but it's very restrictive because you're only eating one meal that you're cooking, and then the other five times during the day you're eating fuelings that you buy from the company. And some people it's too restrictive for them. They just can't sit. They stop and start like 12 times. I can't do this. I need to do this. Because when they're on it, it works, and they see that it works. But then they get tired of it. So now we have other plans that have fewer fuelings, like the 3-in-3 would be 3 meals a day and 3 fuelings, and you can eat other categories besides just meat and vegetables. Where on the 5-in-1, you can only eat meat on your meal. It's only meat and vegetables. But this would include fruit and dairy and
I gotta
more
have
starchy
fruit. I
foods. Yeah.
probably eat too much fruit.
Right.
I love
I
fruit.
have once I started using that, I have 3 people that are on the 3-in-3 now that just were not losing weight on the 5-in-1 because they couldn't stay on it. Every week they've lost weight since they've been on it. I have one that wanted to have. She was an empty nester, newly empty nester, and she and her husband were kind of falling in love again, because they were by themselves in the house, right? So they wanted to do everything together. So they both got up at different times in the morning and ate different breakfasts, so that wasn't a problem. But they met for lunch in the middle of the day, and then they cooked dinner together at night. So she wanted to be able to eat 2 meals instead of 1. She wasn't bored with the feeling. She just wanted to eat 2 meals instead of 1. So I put her on the 4-in-2. So now she's eating 4 fuelings and having 1 meal out and 1 meal she cooks with her husband.
That's awesome.
And she has lost weight every week that she's been on it. So it's nice to have other options besides just the
flexibility, because everybody's different. We all have things we have to do, want to do, need to do.
Right.
And,
You had mentioned one time too, Jean, that your diet is medically formulated, that people have noticed their blood sugars have stabilized very quickly.
It's based on balancing proteins and carbohydrates so that your insulin level stays even and your sugar level stays even. And when they stay even, then you don't get those cravings.
Right. So they've noticed an improvement.
Yes.
Very
And their
quickly
blood
with
sugars
blood sugars.
their blood sugars, almost all of my type 2 diabetics have come off of their medications.
By staying on
by
the
staying on,
diet.
and those that are type 1 diabetics on insulin,
Y'all hearing
they've
this out
lowered
there?
their insulin, the amount of insulin they have to take, just because they change their diet and get their insulin
Right.
levels
And then
evened
the
out.
weight loss obviously helps.
Yes, it
the,
does.
The diabetic situation.
right.
So I thought that was really important
really,
to bring out.
really
that
good for people
they're
that
seeing
are pre-diabetic. And Linda sends me patients all the time that she
Yeah.
says to them, if you don't lower that A1C, I'm going to put you on medication. And they say, I don't want to take medication. They go talk to Gene.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because
And
it works.
It works.
But you're stabilizing it quickly and then losing weight for a
Right.
permanent.
But
you
every
know.
one of them that has come to me with that has said, now, I doubt that diet's going to change that A1C. I said, trust me, we'll watch and see. And every one of them, they call me. They don't wait till their next appointment with me. I just left the doctor's office and my A1C's 5.2. And they're just so excited. They can't believe it actually worked.
Right.
Yeah, but it does. It works
does.
pretty quickly.
And I'll tell you, you're full of aches and pains, lose some weight, and those pains and aches go away. Your back hurts all the time, lose some weight.
Yeah.
You know, you think about all the pressure, your knees, you think of all that pressure on those skinny little knees. And I've seen x-rays where the
yeah.
leg is this big and the bone is
It's just
this
that big,
big,
yeah.
and it's all the rest is, fat.
Yeah.
And it's not just the pressure, but it's the sugar that you're eating, because the sugar feeds inflammation.
Yes, and inflammation is what hurts your joints.
Right, and that's why your joints are hurting, because
right.
they're inflamed, and it just feeds that inflammation and makes it worse every time you eat sugar. I didn't realize that till I started to go on Optavia, and I knew that. I hadn't gone on it yet, and I realized, I thought back, every time I eat sugar, I'm hurting the next day. And it's true.
Yeah. All right, well, it's time to say goodnight. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week with more of Here's Your Good Health. Who knows who I'll bring on next week? What do you think? All right, good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.